just like our power functions, we look at the leading coefficient in our largest degree. If your degree is odd, it's an odd function, we know it's going to go in opposite direction. If your leading coefficient is positive, then as x approaches infinity, f of x approaches positive infinity. And as x approaches negative infinity, f of x approaches negative infinity. Now, if it's odd, but the leading coefficient is negative, it's just backwards. That is, as you approach negative infinity, your function is going to approach positive infinity. And then as x approaches negative infinity, f of x is going to approach negative infinity. The difference here is when we have something that's bigger, a polynomial versus it's a power function, you're going to have some more terms in there. And that's what's going on. If your function is even, we know it's going to point the same direction. Up if your leading coefficient is positive, down if your leading coefficient is negative. So what we're going to do, let's describe the end behavior of our graph based on our tests, and then we can check by graphing it. So I want to describe the end behavior. So if I notice my leading coefficient here is x to the fourth power, okay, and it's positive. So I know as x approaches positive or negative infinity, f of x is going to approach positive infinity. Because it's an even function with a positive leading coefficient. That's how I know that. And let's take a look at the graph of that one. And here's the graph of 3x to the fourth minus x cubed plus x squared. I can zoom in a little bit, but I can see as x approaches positive infinity, f of x is approaching positive infinity. And as x approaches negative infinity, f of x is approaching positive infinity. And I can see it's kind of parabolic looking because it's 3x to the fourth, is we have a little bit of a bend in one direction, don't we? Okay, now let's take a look at example 4. Now, first off, example 4, notice I was trying to see if you're paying attention, or when I wrote the problem, trying to see if you're paying attention because it's not written in standard form, is it? So first off, I'm going to rewrite this in standard form. So it's 2x to the fifth minus x cubed minus 3x squared. So what does that tell me? Well, this is an odd function with a positive leading coefficient, which I'll abbreviate as LC. So in other words, as x approaches positive infinity, f of x is going to approach positive infinity. As x approaches negative infinity, f of x is going to approach negative infinity. I get that from my chart on the previous page, of what we've done before. Now let's take a look at this graph. And there is my graph, and notice I've got some terms in here, but as x approaches positive infinity, my function is approaching positive infinity. As x approaches negative infinity, my function is approaching negative infinity. Okay, let's take a look at example 5 here. Maybe you want to pause the video and see if you can do this one yourself, and then come back. We'll do this one in the next video.